Yeah.
It's 12 o'clock.
Somewheres. It's 12 o'clock somewheres, people. Hey, Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds. I'm Dave. I'm hanging out with a couple of nerds today. We got the whole crew here today. No special guests. It's just Nerdarchy in the house. And we'll be talking about, I don't know, D&D stuff, I imagine. We're talking about possibly doing some world building stuff today. Ted has actually brought up the fact he would very much like us to talk about a Land of the Lost region of our world. Now, I know taking Cody from Taken 20 would absolutely hate that idea. And now that you've mentioned, the Land of the Lost and dinosaurs and that sort of thing, at Origins they're talking about the stuff from the Stream of Annihilation and Chol and the next phase of D&D, where you had zombie dinosaurs vomiting out zombies, which is pretty cool.
So first off, why does Cody not like dinosaurs or not like Land of the Lost?
You know what? I don't actually know why he doesn't like them in his game. I'm just gonna go with he just hates things that are fun. His general purposes.
Nice. I like that explanation.
What was it? I don't know if it was a game that he played in with Gareth. I think, or Gareth ran a game and Gareth I think it was a game he played in and Gareth ran it, and the spaceship was like the Raptor something or other, and he just threw that in there as a dig at Cody.
No dinosaurs in fantasy for him, I guess. That's all right. I mean, everybody's got their pet peeves about things.
Listen, one of the best Dragon Magazine editions that ever come out was the one that was dinosaurs, pirates, and ninjas. Because
for obvious reasons.
Why not?
Sounds like a hearty game of Smash Up to me.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I totally crushed Doug in Smash Up. I used his lack of knowledge of the game to just totally crush him.
Nice. Did you use aliens again?
I used aliens and zombies.
Nice. I know you got a fondness for those aliens, so
they're like the cheesiest one. And if you put space in front of anything, it just makes it cooler. Space zombies, space robots, space pirates, space ninjas. See what I mean? You cannot go wrong by just saying space and then something else.
Space accountant.
You see, he already sounds cooler. He accounts for the space.
But if you do something that's already in space, it kind of sounds weird, like Space Moon or Space Alien.
Oh yeah. So it's got to be something from
Well, that's doubling up too much coolness. So
yeah, it becomes an oxymoron and just disintegrates the world, like Space Cthulhu. Badass.
We got a comment from Doug. Space Lawyer is a real thing.
It is, and I actually know. I listened to an interview like on NPR or something, and they had one because they actually have to have space law because when they encounter new bodies and people try and claim them and things like that.
Yeah, because
Doug's gonna get me back with magic robots someday. Actually, that's probably not a bad combination.
Wizard robots? I don't know. Robots is very creature heavy, and wizards is very spell heavy, so they might wind up working out okay.
Yeah, well, it's the best of two worlds.
Wizards and everything works out well.
Or it's just not going to be enough. Which is very much the case. I don't know. What do you guys think about dinosaurs in your D&D? Because Doug, Steph or Doug already weighed in. I was never a dinosaur person, but I'm excited to incorporate them now. I know after you see a zombie T-Rex just vomiting up zombies, how can you not want to incorporate that into your world?
I don't know. I'm kind of in flavor of my of the wizard riding the zombie T-Rex. We all know where that comes from.
And then vomiting up zombies.
What do you think, Nate? Should we veto Ted and just we do have a Land of the Lost, but they're all undead?
I already have an island with goblins on it. So I've got islands. One of them could have dinosaurs.
Why has it got to be an island? Why can't we make it a lost land underground?
Well, we could put them in Hollow World. Are we going to have
Hollow World?
I think we should. That was something that after our last conversation, I was thinking that we could totally do that.
I don't mind having a Hollow World. I think it's a cool concept.
So Jones Schmidt, my DM won't let us use guns. Well, so here's the thing with guns: like it's either in the world or it's not, and that's something that should probably be predetermined, or you could add them somewheres. I'm not like terribly against them. I used to be like before. I used to be that guy, just like your DM. Now I'm like, throw all the things in there. I don't even care.
Yeah, if you're trying to have a certain style game, guns really break it. Not mechanically, but the feel of the game. They just totally disrupt it. But if it's something like, The Alchemist, where he has the Thunder Shooter or whatever the heck it's called.
The Thunder Cannon.
The Thunder Cannon. That's like a one of. He's not going to make 10 of them and hand them out to his friends. He's not going to. That's like before, systematic manufacturing. So when you've got a blacksmith making a pistol or something, that's not a big deal. And they don't really do much. But if you're trying to go for that, 1000 AD feel, you're not going to want to have guns in it.
Well, that is the one thing that, getting into, the Artificer is, like, mechanically, he can't just like, oh, well, I'm going to make another Thunder Cannon and I'm going to give it to my friend. And now everybody's going to have a Thunder Cannon. Like, via the raw, he can't do that. Like,
because he's fueling it with magic, as well as he's made it, but it's also a magical device that he knows how to operate.
Right. So, like, I don't know, like, there's a clunky thing about that it just, like, doesn't entirely sit right. It's like, come on, just, give me the stats for, why. And it's not like it's overpowered. It's like a ranged greatsword. Do
you think that's more clunky than the Alchemist bag where things disappear? Because that's clunky.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I completely 100% understand why they did it that way, but that is super clunky compared to I fuel this gun with magic, and you basically train yourself as an alchemist if you want to also use this gun.
All right, so why couldn't you have something that it's like, okay, if you have access to cantrips, you can then use this?
Well, if you have access to cantrips, you can just fire a cantrip through a device. I think it might be I might have made the article. I might have just given up on it. I don't remember, but I was working on a spell slinger that used an object that was kind of like a magic wand gun. And he just used his spells through it. It just allowed him to, I think it was more like a fighter, gunslinger, Eldritch Knight kind of feel to it.
Uh-huh.
And I think I might have even based it off of the Eldritch Knight. If it's not on the website, then I still have to write it. But anyway, I've been thinking about that idea of having like a focus that specifically looks kind of like a crossbow or a gun or something, rather than the old mystic art kind of style. So you can have it more in a steampunk rather than a.
I now understand why you guys got absolutely nothing done last week.
We got plenty done. It was just not super laser focused. So yeah, do we want to do this Dinosaur Island? Dinosaur Vale or Dinosaur Hollow World? What do we?
We're going to do it. One of you guys, somebody's going to have to take some notes here. So Todd Bryce, I type really slow. Todd Bryce. I have dinosaurs on an island with lizardmen society, not unlike Dinotopia. Nicholas, I had an encounter with 5 goblins riding an Ankylosaurus. Yeah, the Ankylosaurus with a Huda is pretty badass. And if you're talking about putting small creatures on there, it just becomes like a mobile turret.
An undead Ankylosaurus with goblins inside of it, like a tank. That is also a cool idea.
Even better. Or
maybe it's goblin necromancers, and they tame the dinosaurs, and then when the dinosaurs pass away, they still use them.
That's a thing. It just became a thing.
That's just, yeah.
Write that down.
All right, so goblin.
So the real question is, how many goblins can you fit in an Ankylosaurus?
Well, they're all smaller than an FPN, so. And I figure you can fit 3 FPNs in an Ankylosaurus.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. They're pretty big. They're pretty big.
I would say 2. 3 might be pushing it.
Because I believe they're huge, and goblins are small.
Yeah. So let's say you can fit 5 goblins. One that's the driver, and 2 on either side. shooting stuff and sticking spears out.
So that's a huge creature. Small goblins are small.
Hey,
A
lot of people could fit in the first submarine back in the Civil War or whatever. So
yeah. Maybe they strip it of all the flesh and just use like the shell and the bones.
Yeah,
And then they kind of build like a carriage underneath.
Oh yeah, maybe it's partial magic animation, partial construction.
Yeah.
All right. So now, when we had talked, I believe we actually done a video about our, Dinotopia, whatever you want to call it, Land of the Lost area. I believe we were talking about it being inside like a huge mountain range that had, a veil in it. So it was kind of blocked off from, the other places. But I do kind of like Nate's idea as well. If we wanted to do an actual Hollow World and have
we're not doing a hollow. Fuck that. We're not doing a Hollow World. It's literally a thing already.
Okay, but it's not a thing that's in 5th edition.
Hey, did you know Forgotten Realms did everything ever already?
Maybe. Or stole it from us. It's on a floating island. Fuck you guys. When's the last time you saw Dinotopia on a floating island? In space.
Hey, we're using mythos off of 500-year-old or 600 or 1,000-year-old goblin lore, so whatever.
I don't know. What are you? Oh, wait, let's start to the chat. Where do you guys think? Where do you think our dinosaurs should be?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Necromantic archaeologist from Nicholas. Jinker GM. No dinos. Gah! All the dinos. And we're going to make you play with them too. You don't have any choice. So I'm just kind of. As Todd says, Ankylosaurus is a very large creature. I say at least 5 goblins. We're talking. So it's actually 9 squares. So I think 5 goblins might work.
Yeah, that sounds legitimate. Especially
if we're going to hollow that bitch out and build like a carriage underneath. We can get them in there. We can drop it down real low. Get some spinners going on.
Oh, I like Mitchell Jacobs' thing. A space island, Dave. Space island.
Space island. Say just add space. That's cute. It's cooler. Mutated in jungles. Who is the DM? We're all the DMs. Just depends when. It's like whoever says not it last. It's how we do it.
Tropical jungle in an Arctic area. Some strange magic keeps it a jungle. That's from Doug.
A hollow moon.
Hollow moon. Oh, and you could get to it through a teleportation chamber.
Doug, really? Lost Lands? Really? You gonna go there? I would expect that from Professor Bill. Can we have some savage mutates in there as well?
So Jimmy McCoy says the backyard of Atlantis.
Oh, you know what? That would be cool, dude, if we did do it at the bottom of the ocean. Who the fuck does that? No one does that.
Huh.
And they wouldn't be able to leave, except for the swimming ones that kind of just hang out around it. I mean, because they're magically compelled to hang around and act like guard dogs.
So is there some kind of like crystal ceiling to this bottom of the ocean thing, or?
That dude, it's gonna be an air bubble probably. Magic air bubble.
Magic air bubble. Let's just say a mad wizard did it. That worked for Gary Gygax.
For everything.
For everything. So.
Living Ankylosaurus mount. All the goblins have mounted combat. I don't know if they really need it. They're gonna have cover from being inside the Huda. Huda? How do you say that?
Howda.
How do you say it?
How do you say it? I'm kind of, I don't know. What do you guys think, man? Like, so I don't like Underground because it's literally, okay, that's Jules Verne, literally.
Classic.
The island thing is pretty much Jurassic Park, which was probably something else before that. I think we should try and do something different.
The island is an easy trope simply because the idea is they can't make it off the island, and that's why they're not all over the place eating humans. Pretty much. Imagine an island full of Tarrasque. Would you ever go to that island? Maybe. But would the Tarrasques ever get to you? No, unless they were like Godzilla style Tarrasque. So that's why an island is an easy concept to do. Hey, why don't we put it in a giant cylinder that revolves like a moon around the planet? And yeah, you have to teleport there. Space dinosaurs.
Doug says, "What about the back of a huge dragon turtle that moves around the ocean? So it's an island, but it's it's the dragon turtle island.
Where they were
inside the dragon turtle.
Wasn't that like the Zertan in AD&D?
And he's at the bottom of the ocean. He sleeps like Cthulhu at the bottom of the ocean or whatever, like an elder thing. See, that's how we've got them. They're in the giant turtle at the bottom of the sea. There's a hole at the bottom of the sea.
Go ahead, sing it, Nate.
Nope, I'm good.
Where were you at?
I was referencing the hole at the bottom of the sea, and then there's a giant turtle that is full with dinosaurs that covers up the hole at the bottom of the sea.
I did not get the reference, but
that's okay. It's like a song, like old lady who swallowed a fly, but a hole at the bottom of the sea. It's like that similar flow. You just add stuff to it, just like we're doing.
Like, OMG, do it in Dr. Seuss world, like Horton. Here's a Who. They're micro dinosaurs. are fearsome, but the only way to get there is a shrink, so then it will be fearsome. But if you were to pull the T-Rex out, he'd be like this big. It's all fun and games until there's a swarm of them.
That could be. I actually kind of like that interdimensional. Like they're in a crystal sphere, in some wizard's lab, and it's an entire like world inside it.
Basically, like what is it? Candor.
Yeah,
we could do like the Candor thing.
I'm not familiar with Candor. I'm just bad with names.
Superman. It's the Superman city in the bottle.
Oh yeah.
He ends up with Candor in there. Do the Warcraft thing. It's a deep crater you can't get out. So all right. So what's on the table? Let's start there. What is actually on the table for the Lost Land?
All right. So you've got the valley in between a huge mountain range. You've got the Dragon Turtle Island. You've got the bottom of the sea. You've got inside a crystal ball, like a Candor kind of thing. Do we have anything else that's viable?
So I guess the idea is like, how accessible do you want it to be, and at what level do you want it to be accessed? So I feel like while the moon thing might be cool, it seems very inaccessible.
The moon thing?
My players were just to the way station just the other day, so I don't know.
Well, that's true. Well, in a crystal sphere circling the globe. It's like, wasn't that one of the ideas? The wizard thing. It seems like it could like go away easy.
Yeah,
like
so you're not stuck to being like married to this area being there.
So if you had it as in the valley, it's not as unique and interesting as some of the others, but it definitely has far more accessibility.
Well, what if it is at the bottom of the ocean and you can access it from beneath?
And you can what?
Access it from beneath. Get access from below.
Oh, it's like an underground cave? I mean, underwater cave?
Well, it doesn't have to even be underwater. If it's on the seafloor, right? There could be within this region. There could be mountains. There could be caves, and they would also occasionally allow like something from there to get out. Not particularly big, depending on the caves and stuff like that, and probably would not make it to the surface directly. It would be too long of a trek with too many tiny spaces in between.
Yeah, so wouldn't it be kind of like a space in the Underdark, like Jules Verne?
No, because you could access it from the sea as well.
Okay.
So there would be there would be a quote unquote land route,
Okay.
which you'd have to actually travel, under the sea, under the ocean, through the Underdark, or you could swim,
Can we just
or
make
take a submarine.
Can we just make a really like primal feral dragon god, and it's just in his pocket dimension?
But then
That
it
would be
becomes not.
that would be the thematic with what we've got.
Well, we've got a lot of things that are in pocket dimensions. I don't think we want everything in little areas of their own.
Worked for Ravenloft.
Uh,
No, I understand. I agree.
Do the Drow have good shopping malls? The best. They'll only accept the best. What's going on? We're just talking about some world building stuff. We're trying to figure out where to put our dinosaurs. We have very different views on this. We've got Jurassic Park, Jules Verne, and my crackpot ideas.
And Horton Hears a Who, dinosaur style.
And there's that too.
So, do we want to
make it the Drow's fault?
Do we want to poll people? How do we want to?
Nerdastic Park.
We Nerdastic Park. Jurassic.
Oh, so someone else's chaos storm goes by and creates an area that's from the past. The Dino's cursed tribe of Goliaths roaming the mountainscape, forced by oath to remain. Cloud City. Well, duh, place them in the castle. Time travel portal. How about they are at a remote peninsula that turns into an island after a magic disaster, then turns back into a peninsula after the disaster gets retconned. Just got here. What's going on? We're talking about dinosaurs and where to put them.
All right, so we've got a lot of variety going on.
All right, so Todd says the planets align and the dinosaurs start suddenly passing from one another dimension in time. So, going with the time thing, what about if it's an area that is literally not there most of the time?
It could be. What about? I had an idea. I have an idea based off of Nate's idea.
All right, which one was Nate's idea? Which
Nate's
idea
ideas. All right, so what if it's a enormous, elder being dragon turtle, like you said, and it's that the space that they are actually in is actually in its shell. So it would basically be like a Land of the Lost in the Earth kind of deal, but instead of in the Earth, it's in the shell. Like the shell's hollowed out.
Okay.
So there's a hollow world. There's a hollow world in the shell of the dragon turtle.
And this is pretty big, like small.
It's the size.
Continent.
It would be the size of a small, like Australia.
Oh, that's a big dragon turtle.
Australia, and not only that though. Know what this does? That means it can actually go underwater. And maybe the shell is airtight.
So this kind of incorporates.
I think New Zealand's big enough. I think Australia's a little bit big.
Well, I mean, this incorporates. Number one, it's moving. It's a pocket dimension, and it's underwater. So this incorporates all of them, or all of those ideas. So I kind of dig it.
Poison. The turtle is the baby EG. Yes, he will be the big bad evil guy at some point. Definitely, outer horror, or maybe at least appear, or he could be our Godzilla. He appears to fight Cthulhu or something. Somebody's gonna drive him back.
He goes really slow and he doesn't use a lot of energy. It's like every 100 years he eats a kraken and then he goes back to take a nap.
Yeah, they're calamari to him.
Yeah. It's like, ooh, a little squid.
Well, maybe we do something with that. Maybe like every 1,000 years or whatever, there's like a Kraken spawning ground, and Krakens literally spawn like salmon in our world, right? But this guy shows up every time around that time and eats most of them. So you're only left with a handful of really nasty ones.
The world Cthulhu turtle.
Yes, it is the World Cthulhu turtle.
Of course, Nelson spelled it the word Cthulhu turtle.
I think he's saying it's an exclamation point. It's word Cthulhu turtle.
Well, he's missing a comma there.
Ted, work on your ebonics.
Well, you're just not down with the lingo. That's just
well.
you.
You're not hip.
I'm not hip. I understand this.
Yeah.
No poop chute entrances. That's just gross.
He obviously swallows you like Pinocchio style with the ship and all.
I'm kind of going with. Well, I mean that would be one way, but I was kind of going with. There's actually like
entrances.
Yeah, like the biology isn't actually connected to the world. It's it's literally on his back, and then the shell is over top of all that.
So this is like combining everything, because in a sense, it is a giant crystal sphere in which everything, because you've got to basically like magically get in and out, is what you're saying?
Well, maybe, but there might be some ways that you could actually get in and out. Like there could be things that kind of like seal up after it goes underwater.
Oh,
so
like it's breathing like however it breathes or whatever.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't think we really need to explain it, but literally there could be places that just seal up. But if you were to land on the dragon turtle, you could like go through these places and get to the inside.
Yeah, we could. I mean, if it's a cool place that wizards want to go, someone's probably made a gate to it somewhere. Teleportation circle.
That's always a possibility too.
Yeah. Or you could just make it up on the fly whenever you feel like it. Hey, I want to play in the dragon turtle, the giant, continent turtle today. How do they get in? Well, let's just say they get in through the nose or tear duct or whatever.
There's a way in.
Yeah.
Maybe long ago, like someone carved like hatches that can be opened, like a submarine.
Oh yeah, with a magic word or like just pressure fit.
Jeremy's the turtle washes up near a major city dead.
Oh.
Cracks open, all the dinosaurs come running out. No,
like the Zerg.
And the surface of the turtle has deep one colts. Like the open portal spell from Spelljammer. That's from Doug. Infinite Roleplay is deep one colts. So are we settled on this? Do we like this idea?
I do. I believe we do.
Yeah, I like it.
So it's it probably sleeps like 1,000 years at a time or something. So literally like generations can go by living on top of it.
Yeah,
because it just kind of drifts through the ocean, and they just think it's an island, and maybe they talk about appeasing their island god, but in 1,000 years there's nothing they can do to appease it because it's gonna like, I don't know if you guys like the Kraken spawning.
I do. I have actually already written that down in the notes. So what I was thinking is like there could be, there's so many things that could be done off of just these ideas. Like, all right, well, what happens if there's something wrong with the turtle or it didn't wake up? So you've got the problem of what happens if there's thousands of krakens that didn't
Ted,
get eaten.
Hey, Ted.
Yeah.
Right here. We're right here with that. I'm like, literally, it could be an adventure around. Someone's got to wake the dragon turtle so he can go eat the krakens.
And similarly, you could say that kraken salmon, if you're going with the salmon route, salmon die usually after they spawn. So he could just munch up the dying kraken because they're just easy to get, and then fill himself up and then go take a nap for a long time.
Wait a minute. Let's address some. We have to address something really important in the comments first.
All right.
David Bliss. I'm saying the best thing about Nerdarchy is the beards. Tell my wife. I'm like, you must love the beard. Love it. And she's like, no. And I'm like, you don't understand. The fans will not love me anymore if I shave the beard. And then when I was at Origins, literally like, at least half the time, they're like, I recognized your beard from across the room. next year, I'm just going to send the beard, and I'm going to stay home.
If you go to a masquerade and you cover this part of your face, everyone still knows who you are.
Because of the beard, yeah.
So the next thing I guess we have to, find out is, when is someone going to ask for the beard's autograph? Is
Yeah.
that going to happen?
No, you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have even said that, Ted.
Yeah, now you did. They're gonna want clippings and stuff.
Oh,
beards are powerful. Don't worry about it, dude. We'll get my dog and we'll just cut some of his fur. We won't even tell him. Which my dog's been a real dick lately. For some reason, he keeps trying to flip his food bowl. I think he doesn't want that stuff anymore. So, what do you want to call the island? Hey guys, you got any good names for the island?
I was just gonna troll, so no, I'm not gonna say.
You're not gonna troll the name?
No, I'm not gonna troll the name. I'm just gonna wait for the wonderful, wonderful viewers to fix it.
Oh yeah, if you type a name in the chat, you're giving us permission to use it. Just so you know. Actually, the chat goes away. No, there will be no record of its existence.
Oh. We could go with the ingenious name of Turtle Island.
The island. The
Comic Book University. It's not a beard. It's one of the chinchillas biting his. I wouldn't. You know what? They try and eat the beard sometimes. These things are freaking nuts.
Wait, there's a series called The Iron Druid.
Yes.
I did not know about this.
You know that?
I think we'll have to check this out.
The first book is called Hounded.
You get a nerd. You get a nerd demerit.
That's the next thing on my to read list. So I actually have the first book. I should be starting it soon.
Sorry, I'm reading non-nerdy things right now.
Ugh.
I'm being a bad nerd.
Turtleson Island Incorporated.
Turtle McTurtleface. How about that one?
Oh no, never mind. Never ask. Note to self: never ask to chat again. So we got 74, 75 people on here listening to us babble about beards and turtle islands for D&D.
Oh, can a turtle have a beard? This is not a joke. I want to know. They like tentacle beard or something? That would be pretty cool.
It can totally have a tentacle beard if you want.
What if it's like a lost remnant of this like ancient seafaring things that actually have always eaten krakens, but it was originally a kraken-like thing, and it just grew tremendously large.
Everything grew, but the kraken part of it just grew out from there.
Yeah, like a shell and everything.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do some kind of variation.
So
we could do a bearded turtle dragon.
So what you're saying is, as opposed to it having like the giant flippers and that kind of stuff, it would have more tentacles.
That's not what I was envisioning. I was just envisioning a bunch of tentacles coming off of its face.
Yeah, like the face
like
part.
A beard.
Like it basically, like a giant squid could has its tendrils go out and grabs things and then eats it.
Like what is it, Davy Jones?
Because it's not a swimming monster. It's not going to attack things. It's too massive. So if it had like 100-meter long tendrils, that would grab the krakens and shove them in its mouth.
Pull them to its mouth.
Yeah. So they're asking about why the island has to have a name. Because inside it's not just dinosaurs. There's going to be, it's a whole other part of the world. It's cultures. There's people.
I'm thinking on top of it, there's a whole ecosystem too. Like literally, its back is an island that every 1,000 years you're probably going to get dunked. So like every 1,000 years, society kind of start over.
And the aquatic elves that live upon it warn everybody, hey, this is going to happen. We just don't know.
No one ever believes them.
No one ever believes them until they're drowning.
Okay. So there's stuff that lives on top and there's stuff that lives inside. All right, I'm digging this even more.
Maybe that's how like the things start living inside of it anyway. Like somebody found out and they escaped to the inside. And they live there and they stay there, and maybe every 1,000 years, like a group of heroes is chosen to go to the surface and warn them. Sometimes they listen.
Really cool.
Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. So we could have like these hodgepodge of societies in this underrealm from the ones that have survived.
Yeah, infinite roleplay. Why sea elves? Because something that can live on the land as well as in the sea would probably be one of the perfect residents of the actual shell on the outside of this creature. So, I mean, we could have bullywogs, but whatever.
Aquatic, yeah, oceanic bullywogs. I kind of like oceanic bullywogs.
Well, so this opens a point of where we could add in some reimagined races and anything new that we'd like to add to the world. If we'd like to create any of our own, races here.
Oh yeah, we could
Just
definitely do
just
something along those
idea
lines.
to begin bubbling up.
We could do oceanic lizardmen.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
But we could like loosely base them off of the oceanic iguanas, which actually look pretty cool.
Oh yeah, like the ones that can like dive underwater and eat stuff.
Yeah,
Marine iguanas.
they do. Yeah, marine iguanas. That's it. But I guess someone said, "Why do you Tritons?" I don't really like the Tritons. They're kind of dicks.
they're like paladin high elves in the sea.
Yeah.
I like them,
weird stat array.
I like them, but
They would kind of work in a sense that they're kind of jerks, so no one's going to listen to them.
but they're also very orderly, and they would take it as their like prime duty. to guard it and say, hey, we've got to warn the people that are on the surface that they're going to die.
Well, we could
follow us.
We could, like, I don't know, unless you really want to say, we don't have Tritons in our world. Like, you could say that there's some that are there, without saying like they hold the culture. I wouldn't want to say, nope, this race doesn't exist in our world.
I like that. Attune. Sue Rainey put out there Attune as a name. I believe that she's putting it out there for a name. I like it.
I can get behind that. Attune?
Yeah, Attune. I think we like that. Well, we're going to write that down.
Remember our snail people that we did?
Yeah. They're actually the prophesizers, but the problem is they're so ridiculous no one takes them serious. Like, dude, like, how can I take you seriously? You're warning me, but you're looking at me with this eye. That eye's like googly eye and off there somewhere. You look ridiculous, and you're slimy.
So,
water-based tieflings have resistance to cold, dark vision, and instead of casting darkness, they can cast alter self as a racial ability.
Unfortunately, on this island, whenever a tiefling's born, they drown it in the sea before it can live any further. I don't know. So yeah, so we want to use Sue's name. I like that one. That for the island, we got to call it something anyway. Just even if only for our own reference.
Oh, it's written down.
Score.
Isn't Pratchett's turtle? Is that a question? As in, the writer Pratchett's has a turtle named Attune?
Oh, I don't know.
Uncle Dagon is asking. I think.
I'll tell you in a moment.
Yeah. I
will go to the Googles.
So,
unless someone beats me to the Googles.
I'm not even searching, so you're going to beat me. What do we think about, like, how there's like half ogres? Can there be like half Murrow? Like some kind of Murrow cousin?
Great at 2 in Discworld, Terry Pratchett's. Yeah. Well, that might not be as useful as we thought.
It was a cool name.
They are not what they used to be. They're cool, but they're not. They used to basically just be aquatic ogres, I believe. But they're not that anymore.
Oh, okay.
They are more like crazy, corrupted, insane merfolk, I think.
Oh, well, that's not going to really work very well.
Yeah. They boned you, man. They boned you.
Right, so we'll just write down aquatic.
I mean,
Goliath of the Sea. Whatever you want to do with that.
Goliath of the sea, huh?
I'm just writing down all the ideas that you guys say, or that
Yeah, that works. Am I the only one that does not like Goliaths? I literally don't like them. I like them mechanically. I just don't like them the racial species of Goliath. I don't know why.
I think you're a loner there.
I know. You know why? I'm just like they're just a rip off for Here you go, Nate. Here's your Mero. This is they made them cool. They're
They
cool.
look kind of cool, yeah.
But when you come from 80, you're like it was a thing, and they kind of made it something else. Yeah, they're transformed merfolk.
Oh, okay.
So guys, things that you guys are talking about in the chats, the things that I see, I'm kind of grabbing down.
Dragon Turtle Born. That's fantastic.
That would be fantastic.
Some people have talked about the seashell golems, that kind of stuff. I've grabbed all of those for the notes. We can figure out what we're actually going to do with this.
We should come up with an aquatic species that kind of migrates with the island.
So
somebody they're going to cover a huge amount. You could have like sea kelp forest below it, and like coral reefs attached to the bottom of it. You could have a city underneath it, really.
So you guys brought up the snail people. Somebody brought up a cross between a manta ray and a humanoid, which there was a dude named Manta Ray in the Ninja Turtles. So I already know what that looks like.
Dude, Ty Johnson, crab driders.
Fantastic.
Crab driders?
Yeah. I suspect something similar to that exists, but we can mess with crab driders for sure. We actually did mess with that with dwarves. Didn't we do that?
I believe so.
I think there's video evidence. And wait a minute, hold on. I got to fight with somebody real quick. Oh, Mitchell, I will never leave the past. 80s and 90s were, late 80s, early 90s. That was peak of human civilization, and I refuse to leave that place until we go back. Until you guys recognize the greatness that was.
So on the aquatic new race options, you said snail people. Manta, ray people. You could have like, squid or octopus type people that are not mind flayers.
The squid tars, octotars.
David Bliss. What about some of the sort of anglerfish monster that hunts in the darkness under the turtle? That actually made me think about could be called sea lanterns, which would be like the equivalent of will-o-wisps or something.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I owe G. Simmons money now.
Gotta get in face paint.
Curses, you got me, Sue Rainey. Hey, guys, want to hit the roll call. Norwell humanoids. So street sharks laugh my ass off. Yeah, street sharks were kind of funny. Jawsome. They were jawsome, man.
They were jawsome.
Yeah. Sea spinach. Oh my god. Ruled by a human with abnormally large forearms and like a 30 strength, but only after eating some sea spinach. Jeremy, that is pretty awesome. Oh, how do they survive without a no light? It's magic, man. Magic.
Yeah. Photo reactive algae and
the civilization living on top. I did.
Ryan Lee Wowlith would be an aquatic alliance, but we got the roll call going on now. Doug from Cleveland, Jeremy from Central Florida. We got Michigan in the house with Mitchell, Scratch Paper Games, Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. We got David Bliss, Melbourne, Australia. Hey, mate. It's nice buzzing with you. We got Scott Franklin from Columbia, South Carolina. Sue Rainey is down in. We got Nicholas in Edmonton. I'm doing it wrong. Jinkers GM, you do it wrong, Dave. Holy crap. Probably. Andrew in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We've got Utah with Virgilio. We got Mike Capuch in California. Jinker GM, 70s is where it's at. Let's see. Well, that's not too bad. I was born halfway through there. We got City of Witches, Salem, Massachusetts, with Comrade 2261. Comic Book Universe, top of the highest turtle. Doug with an idea, pulsating sun-like organ inside the turtle. That would absolutely work. It could be magic too. Infinite Roleplay, big New York City, baby. That's right. We got Varsidian in Melbourne, Australia. We got Zephyx in East Texas. We also have Dallas, Texas, in the house with Todd. John McGuire is in Toronto. Oh, Italy. Nice. Uncle Dagon. Average Nerd Pelican like Oroco would be cool. We kind of did something like that in one of our character builds. Mike Sif, San Diego, California. Ryan Lee, Brazil. Awesome. Mario, aquatic ballets would be really cool, actually. Oh, what? Wait, I like aquatic ballets. I put ballets everywhere. I put them in the sky, on land, in the ocean. You can't escape them.
I read an article somewhere that somebody had made a whole bunch of different ballets based on territory, but I don't know whether aquatic was one of them.
Yeah, well, maybe it needs to be a thing. So we have Jinker GMs in Atlanta. Thanks, mate. Nice being here from David Bliss. Hey, do you guys still say buzzing? Do you still use that? Matt G's in PA. I have Kamal. Greetings from Hong Kong. Nice. We're very international today. I'm feeling it. Greetings from Greece with John. That's badass. We got Miami in the house with Mario. Miami's cool too. I've been down there a couple of years ago. Michael in Central New York. We got Average Nerd, New York, but not the city. So we got all kinds of New York going on. We got Jason, Orange County, California. Jake, hello from Malta. Ethan, Milford, Delaware. Hey, you're not far from us, buddy. New York guys aren't that far either, all things considered.
Storm Giant Were Dire Shark. I think that's the thing.
Yeah. He might rule something or another. David Bliss, adversary. Hey, man, we must live nearish each other. Hey, in a global world, you do. We've got Stephen Williamson in Germany. Aquatic ballets equals shark. That is true. Really, a fillet is literally just a shark with legs. But it is so much cooler to make that shark with legs have webbed claws and then put them back in the water.
Well, I also think giving the shark armored plating would be kind of cool as well.
Yeah. We got Silver Tree Druid in Brisbane, Australia. We've got Seattle in the house with Rob. Lich Pirate. Of course, there's a Lich Pirate somewhere. His actual ship is his phylactery. Seabo Space Kobolds. Kobolds are everywhere. They're like cockroaches. You cannot get rid of them. Jay says dinosaurs on the moon. Mila, Land Shark. All right, I think we're finally done with. Oh, we got whales with True Mate as well. I want to go out on a limb and say this is our most international episode ever.
Well, we got Wales, we got Australia, we got Kuwait, we got Greece, we got Italy, we've got Serbia. I have to say that's probably a pretty big.
Brazil was in there as well. Yeah, just all the places.
No, we're not having Sharknadoes.
I'm going to do that with a druid at some point. Well, the only problem is you actually need two casters because they're probably both concentration spells.
Sure, summon sharks and whirlwind.
Yeah. You can get some low CR, so you can get a bunch of them. What is it? Is it the shepherd druid that summons the bears?
I think so.
You could do an aquatic version where he summons sharks. He's stuck on land, though. It's not as useful as it sounds.
So we have another one for a Belenado.
Yeah. I was actually kind of thinking the same thing. It's just hard to get all those belays together. And they're freaking kind of big.
Yeah, so I like the idea of a Sharktopus as well, Mario. But, mixing stuff with shark is always a good thing, so.
Yeah. Comic Book University Professor Bill. Says kobolds are everywhere and you can't get rid of them. Ted and Professor Bill sing "Bite Me" in unison. Ryan Lee, underwater Egyptian pyramids made of razor sharp coral. Well, what other kind of coral would you make it from?
Round it, brain coral.
Man Deep wants to know how we are. I think we're doing well.
It's a good day.
Yeah. So tomorrow, our Marvel game will be going on as usual, but I will not be in it. Doug will be at the helm, so if anything breaks, it's his fault. Just saying. No pressure, Doug. No pressure. Soft, squishy coral. Never heard of it.
How about sponges? No, sea urchins, and the razor sharp coral. That's it.
Oh, nice. One
Ah,
coral that's soft to the touch and entices people in with how soft it is. They just like curl up and then never leave and just wither and die.
all right.
The octopus gorillas.
I am giving the thumbs up. I will make this monster the octopus gorilla.
You would.
Yeah, the octoporillas. They're a thing now. Totally gonna happen.
So is it a gorilla with a bunch of tentacles, or is it a gorilla octotar, or there's a lot of ways you go with this.
I'm thinking like upper half gorilla, lower half octopus.
Because the gorilla with tentacle arms that already exists. That's actually one of the princes of elemental evil.
Well, yes, viewing it a different way.
Sea gnolls, aren't they just like they're like the sea lions of the sea?
We have a question.
We do.
And welcome, Mandeep Carr. He says he's new, or she says she's new. I don't know who it is, but anyway, on to Zephyx, Lear, Nerdarchy. How would you envision an Oni and a green hag working together?
An Oni and a green hag. Is the green hag the weak one?
I don't remember. I don't know the hag hierarchy.
You got the book right there with you, do you? Right
Yeah,
there?
I think the green one is the weaker one. That's the sea hag. And so I feel like the Oni would kind of like it would serve the Oni and maybe try and manipulate the Oni. That is what I'm going with off the top of my head. So how would they work together? All right, so an Ogre Magi is a CR7. It could even be his consort, really. There's definitely some different ways you could go with that. That would be a pretty vicious combination, though. Plus, hags are just pretty vicious in of themselves. Even if they're not like physically imposing.
Nicholas says the hag births children for the Oni to eat. Phileas says aboleths are cool. If you're doing water stuff, I mean, you don't want to get rid of the aboleths. David Bliss says sea hags hate everything attractive. Well, I don't believe the Onis are attractive, so I don't know. But then again, I don't know what the hag is gonna.
It all depends who you ask. Oh, well, sea hag is actually a separate one. So the green hag. All right, so the green hag is a CR3. So that would definitely be serving
the Oni.
Than an Oni anyway. So they would definitely be subservient. Or I could even see him working with a covey of hags. That would absolutely work. Combined, he might serve them as maybe an enforcer, lieutenant, captain. But you could literally do a whole story arc which would expand a good portion of a campaign based off of those two monsters.
So some Varsidian says, Oni's a magical ambusher, hags are manipulators, could be a twisted femme fatale, homme fatale duo. So yeah, there's lots of things that you can wind up doing with that kind of pairing. They could be working behind the scenes, trying to accomplish whatever their specific goals are.
Yeah, I would see that as being very much more of a like they wouldn't operate in the open. It's too smart, too intelligent. They would
Uh,
manipulate things from behind the scenes for as long as possible.
yeah, Ricky Leinhart talking about an arcane volcano on the turtle's back, and people get sacrificed to the turtle by being thrown into the volcano. But that's how you actually get inside.
Oh, that would actually be kind of cool. It'd be like a one-way portal.
Yeah.
I like it. There's a one-way portal, volcano portal, and maybe that is how people get inside.
Yeah,
One of
because
the ways, anyway.
we've been sacrificing people to that volcano for 1,000 years. There's no way you get me to jump in that.
So I like the idea of it being one of the ways. Like,
Yeah,
not,
it wouldn't be the only way.
Maybe it's the way for mass migration, while the little hatches are for like one at a time people.
I actually used the Yanti as a random encounter not that long ago. I was sure I was going to eat my players, but they beat it surprisingly. Through using things I was not expecting.
Tactics? They use tactics against you?
They did, sort of. Ever seen before. It's almost like no tactic. They fight
Tactic.
like Wolverine.
That is no tactic. It's
Yeah.
like a special kind of kung fu.
Yeah, I think I used the abomination. That's what I used against them. And I'm like, there's no way they should fight this, and I did it like some kind of random roll. I came up with that. I'm like, they're just going to avoid it and run away. No, they didn't. They attacked it. And then I'll throw like a weak monster, and they're like, run away. They're like goblins, and they're like, run away, run away. I'm not following them in there.
so Jinker GM says, what about a cuttlefish humanoid? That would be my son's pick.
The cuttlefish humanoid.
He digs the cuttlefish for some reason.
I don't remember what they look like. Are they the pink ones?
They're weird little creatures that tend to be at the bottom.
Hmm. Yeah, so we should like figure out like a size for the island. We could definitely maybe look at some of the islands for Hawaii for sizes. That stuffs. Let's see. I'm going to the Googles now. Let's see. Oh, there's the thing that ranks them.
There you go.
That's convenient. That's not what I want. So we're getting close. We're getting close to the end. If anyone has something they want to throw in there, now would be the time to do it. We're going to have to come up. We'll definitely have to come up with a name. Wow. 2.9 million square miles for Australia.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably go with like a Rhode Island size. Would be
So, according to this, which I don't know how accurate it is, the big island is 1,400 miles across. So that's big.
Well, it's got to be big. It's eating krakens. It's literally like going through like a bunch of krakens and just like the kraken spawning ground and eating them. So it can't be tiny. It can't be small.
True. I'm not saying impossible. I'm just
right. I'm totally cool with a big island, especially if this is a unique thing. There's not a bunch of them running around. Anyway, and and I just envision that there's this area where all these krakens are spawning, after they kind of build up over a millennia, and that for whatever reason they can't not take part, even though it's like they know it's death.
Right.
For them to do it, like literally, that could literally be adventures like around the krakens, like krakens trying to manipulate players into helping them come up with ways to not get sucked into this this racial thing that drives them to go to spawning ground where they know they might die.
Right.
I guess maybe like a magical compulsion, like it's in their DNA. I don't know, something.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
hey,
Octopus do a similar thing.
I do like the idea of we do a lizard folk that are kind of like marine iguanas, and they are actually the most advanced civilization on the island. Because when the thing happens every 1,000 years, it's like it's the only civilization, it's the only culture or civilization that actually survives.
All right.
And they might have like some holiday that they plan around it that happens, or some big event. So it's like some kind of holy time for them, like of rebirth.
Are they exceptionally long lived? Like elven level long
No,
lived? No.
no, but they pass down the stories from generation to generation.
So like, what if they like literally called it like, something in Draconic, but it's like Fool's Day, because those who are foolish and either aren't prepared, don't believe them, or whatever have you, they're the ones that die, and it's like, it's like a cleansing of the island.
The cleansing of fools. They get shaken off like fleas from a dog.
But I mean, literally, the things that die, especially if it's out in the open, no one has to go and do the work because it's going to go underwater, and those bodies are just going to drift.
So again, we have the vote for aquatic dragonborn. I think somebody did one. I did that class as well, or race somewhere. The idea of an aquatic dragonborn. I'm pretty sure that exists.
I'll put it in the list.
So what do you think about like a Rhode Island size turtle? I think the square footage of Rhode Island is like 750,000.
Well, what would be the width?
I don't know.
Because like, if we wanted to do like the size of Hawaii, the big island, we could say like, okay, it's 1,500 across, and not like.
Was that 1,500 what miles?
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
And then not as wide, so it's bigger than Rhode Island, but not by a huge amount.
I don't think it matters that much anyway.
Yeah, sure. Let's pick Hawaii.
Like at the end of the day, like unless someone's going there to survey it, and like of course, if you're doing it, you're going to do it like around the time the island's going to sink probably anyway.
Well, it does matter for whether or not. I mean, it's like saying, is Griffin Gaff a small town that has a single blacksmith, or is it a, major
well,
city?
I kind of see it as having a bunch of. So there is a bunch of things on Reddit for different kinds of dragonborn, but I see it as having a bunch of like tribal societies on it, and one of the reasons why the societies never really advance is because they're constantly being wiped out and having to kind of like restart.
So like we could say the lizard folk rule it, and then maybe there's a small area of elves and some other aquatic races as well.
Yeah, but they're aquatic, so they wouldn't actually live on the island.
Well, there's going to be there's going to be a tremendous amount of the turtle that is submerged, but still basically like slightly under the water. So there's going to be, because you figure only a certain portion of the sucker is going to float above the sea level. So there's going to be probably as much land mass of the turtle underneath the water as there is above the water. So there's going to be a lot of space for liking creatures that are also aquatic to hang out. And for the marine iguana kind of guys, the lizard folk, their buildings can just continue on into the sea, because it's really irrelevant to them, I guess, in a sense, if they're above or below.
So what I'm seeing for aquatic dragonborn, I just looked one up and found Basically, they have a swim speed, they're amphibious, and resistance to fire, so no breath weapon. Is one of the ones that somebody did up. But other than that, they're basically your old standard dragon. We're here. I'm going to show you guys. I'll show you the picture. Where we go here. I like the picture. It's funny. It's not like super serious art, but
Cool enough to share.
yeah, why not? I like it. It's cartoony, but I like him anyway.
Oh, nice.
It gets the point across.
Yeah. So the whole idea is the dragon turtle.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Digging it.
Hey, so we started this whole thing about wanting to put dinosaurs in. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
What we got out of it. Now,
We know where they are.
Is there dinosaurs in there, really?
There's dinosaurs underneath.
Okay, great.
Yes.
There's dinosaurs in the shell. All right. Mission accomplished.
Every once in a while, one of them pops out like a gopher, like a big toothy gopher from hell. The sword does look a little bit like an anchor. You're correct, Doug.
Yeah, I think that was going for style points.
Yeah. Steam breath. I was thinking that too. Like, would it overbalance them to also give them a breath weapon if they had?
Well, what do they have? That's I don't know.
They have swim speed. They're amphibious.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it depends on how powerful you think those things are.
I don't think they're very powerful at all.
It's the situation where, like, if you are in a campaign where it's designed to, okay, water's going to be an issue with breathing and swimming, then it's like, oh well, I just totally ignore these problems.
So you
But
have
if you're
one
But if you're
person.
but if you're not in those situations, then it's kind of moot. Like, it's useless.
It's like when I tried to freeze my my players to death on my fan game, and they didn't have any of it. One of them was completely could make himself immune to cold. The other one had a whole bunch of stuff going on, and the other one was a dragonborn ice dragon sorcerer. So it's like I'm not killing any of these people.
Tier. Did you guys catch that game from Nate? It was like 6 hours long.
It was 4.5. Thanks. Thank you very much.
It was epic. It didn't end.
I always
Spiders from
go
Mars.
over. Yeah.
I think you were giving out hand cannons, hand laser cannons, and I caught a little bit of while I was driving.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. It was nice to test it. And you know what? It showed me how even a party at 10th level. Okay, so I calculated it all out, and it should have been a deadly encounter overall. At like 19th level, it was deadly. At least when you look at the chart, based on the calculations. But that just goes to show you that kind of stuff's definitely more art than science, like Dave always says. I absolutely agree, because the 10th level party of 5 had no problem with the whole entire adventure.
And that's what you designed it for. What was like the hardest encounter you put in there?
An arachnomancer, which was a Drider archmage, basically from our monsters for Patreon rewards, and I put in a whole bunch of zombies that were controlled by little tiny spiders, and like Star Trek style with the little worm thing, and a whole bunch of phase spiders that could come in and sneak attack and attack. But they had someone with alertness who was an assassin, and a barbarian who couldn't be surprised. So it was kind of a moot point when they jumped out of the ether and they're like, "Oh, I'm raging and I'm hitting it first." So
They would try and sneak attack them. They jump out, yell surprise, and your players would just play whack-a-mole.
Yes, pretty much. Yes. So an encounter with like 3 or 4 space fighters, 4 zombies, and an arachnomancer, which is equivalent to an archmage, could not beat a party of 5 10th level characters.
Were you trying to beat them?
I told them in the beginning that some of you may die, and that was like, rawr. It wasn't. I didn't bring the fear of death to them. That's for sure.
And they made your adventure their bitch.
Yeah, and so that just goes to show you, it was slated for a deadly 19th level, and 10th level party took care of it. So,
we've seen that happen before.
Yeah. So
isn't Gale Force 9 coming out with Velociraptors riding paladins? I think so. I heard that somewhere else too. So I guess we've gone over our hour mark, so we're going to wrap it up. So maybe next time we'll get some more world building stuff. Maybe we'll actually talk about the dinosaurs next time.
And the goblins that make them their undead slaves.
Yes.
Well, we had this rolling idea, and it seemed the outside seemed to be a lot more interesting to talk about at this point in time. So yeah, totally dug it.
Hey, but now we've got a place with dinosaurs in it, so we've succeeded.
We do, and other stuff, other terrible stuff. And it was a little bit, we brought it back from a little bit from an earlier campaign as well. So, which is good. It's always good when we can recycle.
Absolutely. So
guys, with that, until next time. Well, wait a minute. Before I can end it, I have to panhandle the internet. You guys are probably already ready to flee. But, we are trying to get out to LA. It's a very expensive trip. We have a GoFundMe link in the description below. If you've already given, thank you so much. If you cannot give, please share out. If you can, we appreciate whatever we can get. It's definitely going to help us defer some of the pain getting out there. And also, if you happen to be out in California, in the LA area, let us know, because we want to hang out. We're trying to figure that stuff out as well. Also, coming up, I don't know how many of us, but myself at least will be in Boston. I plan on road tripping up there. They're doing AdCon for AbTab guys on the East Coast. Locrius and some other guys are throwing something together. I believe it's the 8th of next month, and I will get together the details and I'll start sharing those around too. So, if you want to come hang out, there's going to be people playing games, hanging out. I'll be one of them. I don't know if any of the other guys are going to make it out or not, but just wanted to throw that out there. Whenever we can get together with you guys, we want to. Gen Con, if you're going to be at Gen Con, I'll be there. Doug will be there. I'm probably going to bring my son if I end up driving out there. So, look for us. And when we mention places we're going, connect with us on social media or email us and let us know. We'll start trying to put together ways for us to connect and game. Literally at Origins, we could have definitely commandeered a couple tables and played some games. So we definitely want to do more stuff like that when we're out and about at these places. So guys, with that, until next time, stay nerdy.